It was pretty spontaneous, actually. I received an email about a group of students going to visit the off-the-grid homestead of Chip Hope, a name of someone who frequently arose when topics about sustainability and agriculture collide. I felt curious, so I went. We drove nearly 30 or 40 minutes south until we arrived. He gave us a tour of his property, showing the structures he had built and the variety of animals he shares his land with, from rabbits to sheep to pigs, the medicinal herbs growing around him, his garden, and he even has a greenhouse that's capable of growing tropical plants. This encounter left me feeling inspired, but also curious about how I could integrate some of these concepts into my life now as a student. Though I'm capable of gardening and potentially raising animals, I don't have a lot of control about where my water or energy comes from. And the reality is that the cost of rent and utilities perpetuates a cycle of working just to meet those expenses. So I have little time to actually do the things that could reduce my impact. So I wondered, is there a way to live alternatively that's tangible for students?
Along with Chip Hope, we were able to get in touch with Brett Butler, an App State alum who resides in a teepee here in Boone. Sarah and Georgia interviewed Brett to get a little more insight on his alternative living.
I grew up camping and being in Boy Scouts, and I had picked up all these skills of how to successfully live in the woods. When I was in college and had always fostered and even tried to run away when I was in 5th grade.
Really, the word teepee is 2 words in Lakota. T-P. T-I-P-I. And it means place lived in. And that's what it is. It's a place that you live. It's a dwelling. It doesn't mean like sticks and cloth. It's just like the place that you live. And so I wanted to kind of keep it authentic and not clean it up and let you see it. It's like, this is how I live.
For me, this was like my first step into freedom. Of being like, I don't have to do what you tell me to do, and I can still live my life, and it's awesome. I love it because it's freedom to be able to put together a minimum amount of materials for a pretty minimal cost. I haven't found any tiny house or tent or yurt or yome or anything that's cheaper than a teepee and equally as comfortable. And to be able, I can put this thing together in an hour and live in it for 5 years. That's a pretty great return on investment financially. I haven't paid rent basically since 2006. I paid rent living in a house for 14 months. I've done couch surfing. I haven't done the Airbnb thing because this is like a house and I don't want people coming in here that have no idea how to build a fire, and sometimes this thing turns into like a blowtorch and fire shoots out the top and you have to know to turn that down or you'll burn the top of the TV off. So I don't know. I wouldn't trust somebody to just come in and take over the spot. But I have had a lot of people couch surfing the website come through. I've had bands stay with me. I've met a girl who I ended up dating for a year or more off couch surfing. I do remember specifically I had to take a survey of management class in the business college at App, and my professor in that class was about as straight as it gets, Mr. Corporate, wore a suit and tie every day to work, just a fat white American dude, and he found out about my lifestyle And it was like watching smoke come out of somebody's ears in class when he found this out. It was just like his brain could not compute or fathom like how or why, or like you're basically homeless and like by choice, and it just he couldn't understand it. And the main thing that I said to him was like, how much do you pay in a mortgage a month? And he told me, and I was like, that's how much my whole TV costs.
The lifestyles of Chip and Brett are pretty involved. They have sacrificed a lot in terms of comforts and time to be able to live in a deliberate way. Though it may not be practical as a student to apply their practices on the scale that they do, their underlying ideas can be implemented ourselves in our own way. A respect for the earth and self-sufficiency, a willingness to create a life based on things other than convenience, and a readiness to forge your own path. It's fascinating to observe the balance they strike out between the ordinary and the extraordinary.
Yellow root. So, oh, look at this. This is all yellow root. So we found this growing on the creek bank, and it is the banana, bird of paradise, eucalyptus. Eucalyptus smells good, but I can smell that. There's lemon verbena. There's black pepper. This is black pepper. All this, pepper.